Stan Jabalisco here. I just played a little bit with my Windows 10 toy, and that it proved to be actually quite a useful toy. Does that sound like an oxymoron to you? Well, keep watching. I made a video just, I think it'd be the one previous to this, probably show up after this one on your roster of videos for this channel, concerning internet privacy and everybody's watching you and everybody can see what you're doing. Because, according to the Authors Guild Bulletin in March, Congress repealed a law that had been enacted by the Federal Communications Commission providing certain protections for internet users, certain privacy protections. Those protections are now gone, except I asked for comments on that video, and someone said you should try the TOR browser, and they also suggested, someone else suggested Opera. The Opera browser has, both of those browsers presumably have built-in VPNs, virtual private networks, which can help you maintain your anonymity. And just a little while ago, I also read on one of the sites that I frequent in my lighthearted playing around on the internet between listening to songs by Steven Wilson and Roger McGuinn. Okay, I learned that that particular browser can be useful for looking at the deep web, these nefarious sites that ordinarily are hidden from view. But I'm not particularly interested in exploring the deep web. The Authors Guild's concern about these privacy issues is that a lot of writers, and I'm a writer myself, conduct research on the internet, and they don't necessarily want everybody and their little sister to know what they're looking at. Now, I don't have a problem with that because my books are ultimately intended for publication. I don't believe I've ever done web browsing that I would be concerned about the State Department seeing what I'm doing, or anybody seeing what I'm doing except hackers. I definitely don't want them to see what I'm doing. And you never know these days that you might not be falsely accused of this or that. It's a dangerous world, and it's getting more dangerous with each passing day, from health care, allowing people to die because they can't afford the doctor, to the possibility that a certain rogue dictator, and it's not in Russia, okay, will detonate a nuclear weapon at high altitude and cause an electromagnetic pulse and disable our power grid and throw us all back into the Stone Age. Are these concerns real? I hope we never find out, and I hope I never find out whether any web browsing concerns that I may have are real. I really don't have very many concerns, and most of my casual web browsing, well, all of my casual web browsing is done on my iPad, and a lot of my serious web browsing too. For example, I might want to know, I just wanted to know today, what is the difference between a gel cell and a conventional automotive lead-acid battery? What's the difference between a marine battery or sealed lead-acid battery and the conventional automotive battery? And most of that information was on Wikipedia. And I don't care, who sees that I'm looking for stuff like that. But on my Windows 10 toy, I said, well, this computer is intended for playing around with and possibly doing marginal things with it, things that could damage the computer. I'm not concerned about that computer getting damaged because it's already practically useless because of the way Microsoft sees fit to have generated their updates procedures. I mean, I've been through all that before. It bothers me. I don't like Windows 10 very much, but I did like that computer today. So I downloaded the TOR, the Onion Browser. That's what TOR stands for. I downloaded that and I did some tests that it recommends so that I could try and find out what the internet thought my IP address is. First I checked it in both Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge, and I got I got the same result, and it is in fact my internet service provider right here in South Dakota. Mid-Continent Communications is the name of the company. But then I tried it in TOR, and I tried it twice, and it gave me different numbers both times, neither of which matched my ISP number here. So I looked up the locations of those, going back to the Microsoft Edge browser to find out where they were. One of them was in the United Kingdom, and the other one was in the state of Maryland. And these were different IP address numbers than the one that I normally have. So in fact, TOR is telling the internet, or whoever may be trying to figure out where I'm at and who I am, what I'm up to, a wrong story about me. And it's a different wrong story every time I use the browser, apparently. Very interesting stuff. I don't know as I'll ever be conducting research that requires that kind of privacy. But who knows? The one big problem, and they warned about this, was that this process of rerouting through different servers all over the world takes time. So if you have a high-speed connection and you're used to getting something downloaded in 10 seconds, it might take you 30 seconds instead. And I did in fact find that when I was using this browser, videos were extremely slow. Videos, yes, where some of them refused to load at all, or at least I wasn't willing to wait long enough. And all other sites were very, very slow indeed. But I guess if I had a notion to do some sneaky stuff on the internet, which I really don't have a notion to do, I have no interest in it, I'd rather go for a nice walk in the woods, or a nice swim maybe a little this afternoon because it's a hot day, instead of sitting around snooping the deep web for somebody's deepest, darkest secrets. All the stuff on the news is fake news anyway, right? So what difference does it make whether they know who you are or not? Oh well. Enough said. I tried that suggestion. I have downloaded TOR onto my Windows 10 toy, and now I can actually use the toy for some useful play. Stan Gibilisco signing off. Until I learn some more about this interesting web browser. So long.